Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this session. I'm looking very much forward to go through some very exciting AI and robotics cases over the next 25 minutes or so. So first of all, I would like to talk a little bit about technology. So technology is just so fascinating, right? And what we know is that when we create the basic infrastructure for a given technology, then we can scale the technology to its extreme. So this building here is 1 kilometer high and it costs $1.2 billion. If you have $2 billion, you can get a taller building. So the same applies for how we are driving. We can fly faster, we can fly higher, and actually the same is also applying for AI and robotics. So what we have seen over the past 5 years is that the basic foundation for AI and robotics has now come to an stage where we can scale it infinitely. We have a lot of data and we have a lot of compute power. Some of the things that we can do, some of the benefits, some of the problems we can solve with AI and robotics, you can see here. So when we go and work with clients and users, these are often the things that we are actually doing for them. So it's something about faster decision making, something about automation, better forecasting and predictions, increased efficiency, new creativity and innovation. We can eliminate human error, and we can help the humans perform better and reduce the cost. So AI and robotics can be very glamorous and fascinating, and I will come to that. I promise you will see avatars, you will see robots, but I would actually like to start with some real world cases that are not that fascinating, maybe even invisible and a little boring, but they can bring tremendous value to the users and to the clients. One example is this solution. It's a computer vision solution. We have trained an AI model to do two things: recognize blue pallets and recognize white plastic boxes. So this is the only thing that this AI algorithm can do. And as you can see here, when the boxes and the pallets goes in and out of the warehouse, the AI model can count how many is going in and how many is going out. And in that way, this client from Norway would always know how many pallets and how many boxes they have on stock and when they need to order new ones. So a very concrete problem solved with a simple AI solution. The alternative would be to have a human being standing and counting 24/7 in each gate of the warehouse. That would be kind of painful, I believe. So this is a very good application when we talk AI and robotics. Another case is this one. So this is a solution that we have created together with a startup. And this small box here that you mount on the wall in your shower, it has been trained to do one thing. It can recognize the sound of a shower that is turned on. And what happens when the shower is turned on is that the clock starts ticking. And what we can see is that when the users are able to see how long they have been in the shower, they would actually reduce the time that they shower by 20%. So again, a very simple AI solution that can solve a problem both with sustainability, but also with the utility bill. This is a solution that we created for a client that is manufacturing diapers, and these diapers are for elderly people in nursing homes. And what we have done is that we have digitized the diaper. So there's like a wire net in the diaper, and then there is this small chip that sends information from the diaper. And first of all, the client wanted just to be able to see if something had happened to the diaper. So the elderly people would not have a wet diaper for a long time. But the interesting thing is that when they started collecting data from all the users, then they started finding patterns in the data. And now they can actually diagnose incontinence, and they can prevent infectious bladder. So going for a manufacturing business, transforming actually into having a business within life science and healthcare. The next case is a case from an NGO. It's called Children's Welfare. And children's welfare is somewhere you can go to if you are a child and you have problems. So you can call this helpline and talk with educated people about your problems. What we did was that we helped them solve a huge problem. And what also happened was that when the news picked up that children would be exposed to artificial intelligence, then it ended in the 7 o'clock news and in the newspapers all over. But the problem was not to be overseen. So the problem was that every year, 131 children would contact this helpline, but they would not get an answer. They would just be in a long telephone queue or in a long chat queue. So because of resource limitations, this NGO could not help all the children. The children had many different kind of problems. They wanted to talk about divorce, grief, love, mental illness, drug abuse, suicidal thoughts. So there were a lot of topics that these children could talk about. And what we decided to do was actually to train an AI that could understand these topics and then feed the good information to the counselors while they were talking to the children. So what is actually happening is that, so this is an example from the screen where they are chatting with the child, and the AI is on the right side. And the AI advisor would listen into the conversation and try to feed good information back to the counselor in real time. And I can just show you a small video here of how it actually works. So this is Charlotte. She is the manager for that NGO, and she is here on stage presenting the solution.
Here today, it's very exciting. Children's Welfare is a helpline that helps a lot of troubled children every year. Over the past 2 years, NTT Data has been working with this NGO to make the service more efficient and effective with AI. Where are they coming from? Oh, here you go. Come in.
Vi ser med så
On a train, out of town, driving over swinging bridges.
Then we're going to show it.
So let's just show you the system. We're not inviting any children into the system today. Asmus will be the child, but the examples that we are showing you are actually examples from real conversations from children. Let's have another. And she says, it's because they're bullying me with something with my body, and I'm really sad about it. And now the AI knows from 3 messages, it can tell that it's still about bullying as a main topic, but now it has concerns about the body, like body development, and it also has body ideal as a topic. And this way we can show the counselor a set of guidance to how to handle conversations about a topic like bullying. And if they needed some place to refer the child, there are referrals, and there are also something.
We do want the counselor to know how confident is the AI.
Because it had a human aspect to it. So it had the soul. So building the whole thing required us to give everything. So there was no shot, but so far we have shown that we can build models that are not only good, but also ethical, right? Thank you.
And of course, the ethical aspects of this has been a very important part of the project, and we have done a lot of initiatives to make sure that the AI algorithm is fair and is not discriminating any children. But again, imagine having this digital colleague that can help you and sits next to you all the time and feeds you with helpful information. This is actually what this AI is doing. So the next thing I just want to talk about is AI when it comes to robots and avatars. And what we have been doing over the past 5 years is that we have tried to replicate human behavior in technology. So this robot here is actually our first try to replicate human behavior. And what we did was that we actually trained it to have conversations just like normal human beings would have. And as you can see, we got quite far, so all the way to national TV. It acted as a talk show host on a national radio and performed on the big stages. But what we also found out was that this sweet plastic robot could not activate the emotional centers of our brain and our body. When it comes to brand loyalty and customer lifetime value, what we call emotional connection is very, very important. And you cannot establish emotional connection without having a human interface. So the human face is the most powerful and universal interface that we know. And everyone understands the face, right? From the very moment that we open our eyes and look at our parents. And this is what we wanted to look into. How could we establish that feeling with technology? The power of a smile is something that is very hard to replicate. But what we did was that we created these high fidelity photorealistic avatars, as you can see here. So this lady is not a real person. It is a digital avatar. But what you can see is that when you establish that eye contact, you see that small, like the little smile, the micro expressions, and also the human imperfection. Then you actually activate some emotional centers in your body and in your brain. And this is where your right brain starts getting active. So what we can do now is that we can take sort of like the AI capabilities from the robot, and we can put it into this digital human, as they are called. And then we would have something that appears very much to be a human being, but actually is technology and a machine. What we have done is that we have created a platform where we can actually sort of like give digital birth to what we call digital newborns. So imagine that you have these digital newborns that comes with a basic set of human capabilities. So they can see, they can speak in a natural language, they can understand a natural language, many languages actually. They can understand emotion and they can express emotions. They have a memory, and then they have this human appearance that makes them appealing and recognizable. We have then trained these digital newborns to cover different job functions or roles. We call them personas. And as you can see here, there is anything from a Kia Mia up here is a car dealer, a digital human car dealer. We have our fireman Sam, who's a concierge. We have a digital clinician, also a tourist information guide, receptionist, sales agents. So a lot of different personas that can actually go into the real world and help support the users and the humans with the functions that they are trained to do. I'll just show you a small demo of how it is working. Also live demo from stage here. So here we go.
join us on stage. Coming in from the side here, give them a warm welcome.
I'm going on holiday, so I guess some travel insurance.
Yay, time to travel. Where will you be going?
I'm going to Scotland.
Ah, I love Scotland. When is your holiday?
It's around the middle of July.
This year?
Yes.
Are you already a customer here, or should I help you create a profile?
All right, Nanette, that was kind of impressive, I'd say.
You can see another of my twins, Triana, running on a Raspberry Pi inside a car. She's a travel companion, helping and entertaining the passenger in a self-driving car towards their destination. Our ETA is 14:15, so in 10 minutes. You should be able to make it in time for your next calendar appointment at 14:30. Thanks for your attention. You may clap now.
So as you could see, you can give the digital humans kind of personality also. They can be inside a car, they can be an insurance agent. So they have so many applications that we could think about. I'll just show you another small video of our receptionist persona that we have actually running quite a number of places. So here we go.
Hi, I have a meeting with Bjorn Jorning Visgaard.
Who from this list is it?
Yeah, it's option 2.
Ah, Björn Jorning Quistgaard, great person. Björn has been notified and is coming to get you shortly. Your meeting starts in 14 minutes, and it takes place in meeting room number 2.
Cool, thank you.
Hey there, I have a delivery here for... Hi?
Hi there, how can I help you?
I have a package here for Brian Hansen.
Alrighty, I've let Brian know you're here. Please wait a bit.
Okay, wow, great.
Happy I could help. By the way, the weather report says it's going to be so hot today, so make sure to stay hydrated and get a cold drink in our waiting area before you head out again.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
So as you can see, they can be at many places at the same time. They can speak a lot of languages, and all in all, we have seen that this digital human concept has really taken off, and we are now looking into some of the more advanced cases where we can also help solve some bigger problems. But this year at Tour de France, there will be this digital human Tour de France promoter called Victoria, and she will be following all the stages and be in the fan areas and being there to guide the guests and the spectators. So we can see again many applications for this technology. The last one I would like to introduce you to is our AI learning helper. So we sort of like under the pandemic, we took the avatar concept and said, okay, we can create these intelligent digital humans that can actually communicate in the terms of human beings. And why not try to build a solution that can help children learn to read because of the situation with COVID and homeschooling. So we created this AI learning helper, which is an emotional responsive teacher that lives on a screen. Every child can have one. And it becomes sort of like a learning buddy. And I can just show you a small video of how it actually works.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, Lucas, are you ready for our next adventure?
Yes.
I found some great books for you. Which one would you like to read today?
Pirate Boy.
Ahoy, matey! Are you
On the way. This is a tale Or the tiny snail?
Great big grey-blue humpback whale. Can you say the learning helper? The future of personalized education. Ha-ha! Hope to see you soon, kids!
So this solution is really using all the AI capabilities that we know that are out here. So in order to understand if the child is pronouncing the word correctly, we have a language model that can listen to the phonetics of a word. We have question and answer algorithms. So the AI learning helper can ask questions based on the text of the book. We have also emotional detection. So from the camera, we can see if the child is distracted, tired, or just not motivated, and then we can change sort of the teaching strategy in real time. And of course, the real value of this application is the scalability. So every child can have their own, because we can scale the technology to the extreme, like we saw with the building in the beginning. We can do the same with AI and robotics, and that's why it's so powerful. So coming back to the beginning, I would like to again remind you that this technology can really bring value. It is a new technology, a new superpower that can help us with faster decision making, like the NGO we saw with the children's welfare and the AI advisor. We can automate, like we saw with the counting of pallets and boxes in the warehouse in Norway. We can do better forecasting and predictions, like we saw with the digital diaper, and they can predict whether someone would have an infectious bladder. Increased efficiency, of course, new creativity and innovation. We can eliminate human errors. We can help the human perform better. And yeah, of course, we can reduce costs. So with those words, I would actually like to conclude my presentation and hand back to the panel and the organizers. Thank you very much.
Mr. Normark, this is very, very interesting, and I'm sure the audiences would also agree with me. Just 1 minute of your time, or the audiences, that we have planned a Q&A window for 10 to 12 odd minutes, after the panel discussion. And I would urge each one of you to share your questions, any queries, which will be taken up by the speakers via the chat box. Moving on to the very interesting and power-packed panel discussion, we have obviously Mr. Thomas Normark, Global Head of AI and Robotics Innovation Technologies, NTT Data Business Solution, Denmark. Beyond that, we have Mr. Rajesh Mohandas, Vice President, Thomson Reuters, Ms. Teresa Kushner, Senior Director, Data and Analytics Solution, NTT Data Services, and Mr. Vikas Desai, Chief Technology Officer, Bentley Nevada at Baker Hughes. Over to you, speakers.